Hey, mellow greetings, everybody. My name is James, and today I decided I was going to tell you a tale. It is a tale of two protests, a tale of two protest shootings, and a tale of how these two went horribly differently very quickly. So let me punch up some articles, and we will talk. Portland shooting suspect fatally shot by U.S. Marshals task force near Lacey. Now, before I continue with this, we're going to go back through a time machine real quickly. We are going to talk about the Kenosha shooter and young Kyle, and how Kyle, shot three people, walked right by the police line with an AR-15 around his neck, got to drive back home to another state, delete his Facebook profile, then have calm conversations between his mother, police in two different states before he was officially charged. Then he got to get a ride by his mom to go to the police station to officially turn himself in. He was then set up to get extradited back to Wisconsin, where the shooting was, to be officially charged. And that was the tale of Kyle, and that's where we left it. Now, if you remember, a few days after that, in Portland, there was another protest shooting. And the person who died there was a member of the Patriot Prayer, the Joey Gibson, quote, conservative, pro-gun, pro-free speech group, which frequently coordinates with the Portland police when they want to go beat the crap out of people on the left. It's documented, so calm down there. So a few days after that shooting, a story came out with this headline. I went back, I rolled through my social media, and I actually found a post by somebody that went up the day before this, before I saw this article, and it was a very short post, and all it said was, "Cops shoot an unarmed shirtless man right in front of my home in Tanglewild. Sounds like a full clip fired. Pierce County Police apparently involved. Our entire parking lot is taped off. Anybody got any more details on this? Saw the body on the ground. It looked like he passed away." Next day, this article came out, the next morning, that the Portland police shooting suspect was fatally shot by U.S. Marshals. I was thinking, that's weird. Let's see what happened. The suspect in the fatal shooting of a right-wing supporter in Portland was shot and killed by U.S. Marshals task force near Lacey Thursday evening. Shooting occurred in the 7600 block of Third Way Southeast in Tanglewild about 7 p.m. Okay. So that seems to match up with that Facebook post I saw. U.S. Marshal Services confirmed the man killed is 48-year-old Michael Reinoehl, the suspect in last weekend's fatal shooting. Portland Police Bureau had issued a warrant for Reinoehl's arrest earlier Thursday and asked the U.S. Marshals to find and apprehend him. Thurston County Sheriff Lieutenant Ray Bradley said the Pierce County Sheriff's Fugitive Apprehension Team, working as part of the U.S. Marshals Service Pacific Northwest Violent Offender Task Force, was in the area looking for a wanted homicide suspect when they saw the other suspect come out of an apartment to a vehicle. They said he appeared to be armed. The suspect came out to the car, Brady said. They attempted to put him into custody, and shots were fired. There was a confrontation between the officers on scene and the man, Brady said. Officers fired shots into the vehicle, and the suspect ran from the car. Brady confirmed. Then officers fired more shots. As of 10 p.m., Brady had not confirmed whether the suspect fired a weapon at law enforcement officers. Reinoehl was pronounced dead on the scene. Brady confirmed that 4 different officers fired their weapons. The officers were from the State Department of Corrections, Pierce County Sheriff's Department, and Lakewood Police Department. All officers on the scene were acting in U.S. Marshal capacity. No officers were injured in the confrontation. Chad Smith and Chase Cutler, who were working on cars nearby Thursday, said an unmarked SUV had been parked on School Street for a while when that SUV and another converged on a man in a vehicle at the apartment complex. Smith and Cutler moved onto a grassy area about 50 yards away to watch what was happening. The man got out of his vehicle and began to fire what they believe was an assault rifle at the SUVs. They said they heard 40 or 50 shots. Then officers returned fire, hitting the man. "It reminded me of a video game," he said. Now, let's review a different telling of the tale, shall we? Officers who first confronted Michael Reinoehl outside an apartment complex in Washington last week yelled no warnings or commands before firing and killing the Oregon man wanted on a murder warrant in the death of a right-wing demonstrator in Portland, according to witnesses now represented by a lawyer. So the witness, who's represented by the lawyer, said he saw Reinoehl walk towards his car holding a cell phone when two unmarked law enforcement vehicles converged outside the complex. Officers began firing at Reinoehl, according to his statement. Reinoehl ducked for cover near his car, but it was blocked by police cars and he never got into it. Officers shot multiple rapid-fire rounds at Reinoehl before issuing a brief stop command, quickly followed by a more rapid-fire shooting. He said he never saw a handgun on Reinoehl or saw him reach for anything. Other witnesses, which we previously read the statement, said they reported hearing dozens of gunshots fired. Police have said Reinoehl was found with a handgun, but have not said if he fired shots at any officers. Wait a minute. Police said Reinoehl was found with a handgun, but these other witnesses say he got out of his vehicle and began to fire an assault rifle. And he fired 40 or 50 shots with an assault rifle. Now, there is a large difference between a handgun, which at most you're talking about, 16 the clip plus one in the chamber, versus, 30 round clip in an AR-15. There's a huge difference in how many rounds you can pop off, what they sound like, and, oh yeah, one of those weapons is about 2 feet longer than the other one. But, okay, sure. Yeah, the police said that he was found with a handgun. I'm not saying this. The witness wasn't saying this. This is what the police said, which directly contradicts the statement in the previous piece we read. But I digress. Now, the witness who gave this statement saying that he didn't have a gun is an ordained minister of 19 years, and he now fears for his family's safety for speaking out in what's become a flashpoint in the political swirl around Portland's ongoing protest. That's why he got a lawyer and had to give a statement with a lawyer present and then go into some kind of protection program. Woo! Now, I would be remiss if I did not mention to you that police work at, a city or a state level. Sheriffs work at a county level. U.S. Marshals work at a federal level, even though they're in regions and zones. And as you can see in this, what's documented here, some local police also work in U.S. Marshal services. Now, they never sent the U.S. Marshals to Kyle's house. They sent the local police over to kindly talk to him and say, hey, buddy, listen, we're going to have to bring you in soon. So, maybe finish, eating mom's spaghetti and deleting your Facebook page. And then you got to come down to the police station. They were like, oh, okay. And his mommy drove him down there finally. Okay. This was a federal task force that was supposedly in the area casing out somebody else. And they just happened to see this guy walk out towards his car. Does any of that seem weird to y'all? No, it doesn't? Okay. So why is it important that federal marshals were involved in apprehending Reinoehl, but they weren't in the Kenosha shooter? Well, again, one is federal and the other one is either state or city. What did Donald Trump have to say about this? This is what Donald Trump had to say about this.
Now, we sent in the U.S. Marshals for the killer, the man that killed the young man in the street. Just shot him. I mean, it was on television. Cold-blooded killed him. He didn't like his hat, or he didn't like something, and it wasn't a Trump hat.
Right. It was peaceful.
It was
prayer.
It was a lot. It was a religious hat.
Right.
And he shot him cold blood. 2.5 days went by, and I put out, when are you going to go get him? And the U.S. Marshals went in to get him.
Good.
And in a short period of time, they ended in a gunfight. This guy was a violent criminal.
A lot of them out there.
And the U.S. Marshals killed him. And I will tell you something. That's the way it has to be. There has to be retribution.
Whoa, Nelly. I'm sorry. President Trump, did you say there needs to be retribution and that's why you sent federal marshals to somebody's house? You do know that it's not your job to deliver retribution. You can't do, well, I mean, you can do this. You're Donald Trump. You did do this. And again, this is ridiculous because Donald Trump defended Kyle Rittenhouse. He was like, oh, did you see the video? That kid was acting in self-defense. Donald Trump, you do not get to be the judge. You do not get to be the jury. You do not get to be the trial master. And you certainly do not get to be the executioner. That is not your job. It is not your job to declare innocence or guilt of people who haven't even gone to trial yet. And it's most assuredly not your fucking job to go and order the fucking assassination of American citizens in the street because they shot somebody with a religious hat. It wasn't a religious hat, dude. It was patriot prayer. And none of those motherfuckers are patriots, and none of them fucking pray, okay? They prey on people, they prey on fear, but they most assuredly do not pray to whatever God it is you supposedly pray to, which we both know is most definitely not the same God that most other people fucking worship. Dude, you're out of your mind. Oh yeah, by the way, Donald Trump Jr. said, hey, we all do stupid things at 17. This is the attitude. Donald Trump Sr., the president, was like, oh, he's a good kid. He was defending himself. Yeah. Donald Trump Jr. is like, oh, we all do stupid things at 17. Who among us hasn't been a teenager and, gone to a riot and murked two people? Like, pish posh, those kids. Oh, those kids. Now, last point, and this is for all of you at home who are going, oh, the guy was violent. Oh, he had a gun. Oh, well, maybe some witnesses said he had an assault rifle and the police said he had a gun, but surely he had a gun and surely he was violent and surely he was going to kill people. And that's why the police had to empty 40 to 50 rounds into him in his car, right? On the same exact day, white man taken into custody after killing wife, shooting black neighbors, and firing 40 rounds at police. 48-year-old Jason Michael Reinoehl is facing 1 count of second-degree murder for the death of his wife and 2 counts of second-degree attempted murder for shooting his 2 neighbors, one of which was a 12-year-old. Oh, where are all you save the children people now, huh? Huh? Look, this guy's murking 12-year-olds. Hennepin County Attorney's Office said officers were called to the neighborhood on Sunday after receiving several reports of gunshots being fired. Once they arrived, they heard more gunshots. Officers went into the home garage and found the body of Angela, his wife. She was shot several times in the torso and the neck. The guy then went into a standoff with police. Authorities were able to enter his home as he continued to fire his weapon at them. After firing more than 40 rounds at police, he surrendered. A few moments later, officers learned that he'd also shot his 2 black neighbors. The victims' aunts identified them as a 29-year-old and a 12-year-old. The child was shot in the head and is in critical condition. He reportedly opened fire on his neighbors out of nowhere as they were packing their things into a moving truck. He told authorities they were, quote, not good neighbors and that he hated all children. Now, how is it that you fire 40 rounds at the cops and then say, I surrender, and the cops bring you in when you shoot a woman or you shoot your neighbors? Oh, okay. But if you shoot a Patriot Prayer protester, then they come and they murk you. Okay? Same exact day. They literally, the cops are sitting there over the corpse of his wife. Okay? Like the body is still warm and the guy pops 40 rounds at them and they surrenders and they're like, okay, cool. Come on out, Bob. We got you. Come on out. It's cool. It's cool. Yeah. But no, when the federal authorities come, when Trump sends the U.S. Marshals Service to extrajudicially punish people because he believes there has to be retribution and that he's the one to deliver it, oh, well then people die.